Michael Jenkins here, Voyager's Area Council Scout Executive, and would like to take a few minutes today to talk about fundraising and finance. PSA budgets and financial reports are very extensive and can be very complicated and difficult to understand. Just in the annual process of preparing budgets for the Voyager's Area Council, I have over 3,600 lines of code that need to be prepared with numbers in each one of those cells. I think that it's very important that the Scout executive understand all of those accounts and what they are used for, why they are used, when they are used, and how significant they are to the operations of the council. Fund 1, which is the operating fund of the council, is the day-to-day operations of the council and is certainly very important that the Scout executive understand all of the things that happened in Fund 1. Fund 2 is the capital fund. Those funds are raised and used for properties, for our camps, for long-term investments that the council has. And again, very important that the Scout executive understand all of the things that go into that fund and how it is used and when it should be used. Fund 3 is the endowment fund of the council. Those funds are used for supporting the council long-term. Investments are made and managed and maintained, and the Scout executive needs to understand those investments, where that money came from, why it was given. If there are restrictions on those monies, then the Scout executive certainly needs to understand what those restrictions are and honorably seek to follow the wishes of the donors so that those funds are used appropriately. There needs to be a plan and a budget for each one of these funds, and that plan needs to be followed. And this plan also should be at least addressed by the executive board, if not even approved by the executive board. There will be people on operating committees that participate in fulfilling the plan and making sure that the budget is met. There need to be fundraising activities for each of these funds. And in Fund 1 alone in the Voyagers Area Council, there are 12 different categories of fundraising activities, each of which has a committee that should be responsible for the things that happen in it. And those things extend down to our service areas, which would include our districts as well. All of these processes and the way that all of the things happen need to be well understood by the Scout executive, and the plan needs to be followed. There is an important word in financing and fundraising that every manager, leader in an organization needs to understand very well and be very true to in the way that they act every day. And that word is transparency. There's reporting that needs to happen to the executive board, to donors, to foundations and agencies like the United Way, which provide support for the council. All of that reporting at least needs to be understood by the Scout executive, and in many cases, which is our case, because we're a small council, that reporting is often done by the Scout executive. Also, there needs to be reporting to our stakeholders, our unit leaders, our district leaders, even the parents who are the people that donate a lot of their money and their time, need to know what the actions are of the council, how the money is being used, and at least on some level support those actions. One of the concepts that I think is super important regarding fundraising and finance is that there should be no waste. We are a nonprofit agency, and the people that give us money so that we can operate and provide programs for kids care greatly about how that money is used. To them, their money is super important and might even be considered sacred. For me, as a Scout executive, and for us, we need to see that money the same way. Money isn't here, even if there's a lot of it, to be wasted. It should be used for important things, important activities, and important programs for the kids that we serve. And there should be no waste. And we should consider every dollar that is given or that is earned as sacred and very important to our process. Those are my thoughts today on fundraising and finance. Thanks for listening.